the blog that I did this morning, but I want to go over the market movement that we're anticipating. We have both core retail sales, and PPI. Okay, so I have gone back and done a study on what type of market movement we typically have when we have these reports out. Okay, so on the Dow, we're expecting 46 ticks of movement. On the ES, 26. On the NASDAQ, 47. On the DAX, we're expecting 88 ticks. On gold, we're expecting 57. On crude, 41. On the Aussie, 33. The Euro US dollar, 40. The British pound US dollar, just about 40, is 39.9. USD Canadian, 28.9. The USD Swiss franc, 32.5. USD JPY, 38. Now, this is just for core retail sales. Does everybody follow that? But in addition to the core retail sales, we also have the PPI. Okay. Now, the PPI, just if it comes out by itself, we would anticipate 36 ticks on the Dow, 20 on the ES, 41 on the NASDAQ. On the DAX, 59. On gold, 43. On crude, 45. Aussie, 17. Euro, 24. British pound dollar, 23. USD Canadian, 33. USD Swiss franc, 27. USD JPY, 27. Now, I've also noticed that when the reports are thrown together or lumped together like we have them this morning, we typically get more than the average. Does everybody understand that? So although we may only anticipate, for example, 40 ticks on the Euro US dollar, we'll probably get more than 40 ticks because we have 3 reports lumped together: retail sales, core retail sales, and PPI. Any questions on this so far? Okay, since there's no questions, let me explain what I've done. On the DAX, I've done a spread, and this red dotted line represents the spread that I've taken. And I've taken 2 spreads, one to the upside, one to the downside. Doesn't even require analyzing indicators. This is just a spread. Does everybody understand? Okay. So my spread to the upside, I bought the 325 area. I also sold the 325 spread. So if it goes up, I would make money, or if it goes down, I would make money. Now, over on the Euro US dollar, I've done in the magenta line here is what I would consider the median price. Okay. So I'm expecting it to move down 40 ticks, which would be this red line, or it could move up 40 ticks, which would be this green line. Okay. All I did was mark the anticipated movement to give me some idea of where price would go. Then I did a daily binary at 0620. Okay. And my profit target is already in at 45. I did a 9 a.m. expiration with a profit target of 55. Okay. On the downside, I did 0547 with an expiration at 9 a.m., a profit target at 45. Down here, it expires at 11 o'clock this morning, and my profit target on that one is 60. Everybody understand that? Any questions on that so far? Now, on the spreads for the DAX, I also did a profit target, And if the spread on this one gets to 370, which is right at the ATR, let me see if I can get my mouse to work here. That's about as close as I can get, and I'll put it light green, and we'll make it solid. Okay. If the spread, well, that doesn't show up very well. Let's go with another color. Let's go medium sea green. If price gets to here on the spread, it will bring me out. The other side of the spread, I have a profit target in at 280. So if it hits this area after the market report, and these expire in 1 hour and 33 minutes, if it touches either of these, either the red line or the green line, it will bring me out. Okay? All right. The first dotted green line is 9 a.m. The second dotted green line is 11 a.m. That's considered a daily on the Forex charts. Okay, the first red dotted line is a 9 a.m. The second red dotted line is 11 a.m. Okay, now what does all of this look like in Nadex? Okay, this is a demo account, so I can show it in the room. I'm not giving out buying or selling advice or any of that good stuff because I'm not a CTA and I don't endorse that. But you can see I've got 2.5 hours on this one. I've got 32 minutes on this one, 32 minutes on this one, 2 hours and 30 minutes, hour and a half, hour and a half. Okay? Does everybody understand the way that I did this? And we're really going to be kind of focused on this today. So if you do not understand, please let me know. Okay, they are expecting core retail sales to come in higher than last month at 0.7%. They're also expecting the PPI to come in at 0.3. Last month was negative 0.5. In retail sales, they're expecting at 1.1. Previously, it was negative 0.6. Okay. Yes, it was trading right at the floor and ceiling, Dan. So I went ahead and got it right at 8 o'clock this morning. And that one has an hour and a half. It could go up and touch the top one, get the ATR, and then come back down. We don't know. I'm going to shrink this up a little bit so we can see what actually happens between the chart and the Nadex. Oh, that wasn't very good. Now, the one thing to be aware of is this will happen, especially during the market report time. It just kind of goes off the chart. Okay, retail sales came in at 0.9, not as great as they anticipated, but better than last month. And PPI comes in at 0.2 and 0.4. So PPI was expected at 0.3, came in at 0.2. Core retail sales anticipated 0.7, actually came in at 0.4. Okay, I've been taken out of one of the positions. It was the green line here, 0602. The 0620, I've got a $45 profit target in on. We just got taken out of the last position. So on this one, it was $25 per contract. On this one, it was $31 per contract. Does everybody understand that? Now notice that the DAX hasn't moved. Would I be worried about that? It should have moved, but it didn't, right? But I'm out until 10 o'clock. What do we have between now and 10 o'clock that may move the DAX? We have the U.S. market opening, correct? And that typically will move the DAX, correct? Does everybody understand that? Now, how much did I just make on that move? Even with the two positions that I have left, okay, even if I lose on both positions, okay, I still just made $500. Any more questions? That is correct. They're full losses. And that's trading 10 contracts. Everybody understand? And I did not even need indicators to trade that. All I needed to understand was the average movement and how to trade the binaries. Any questions? That's right. Pure strategy and mathematics. Do you know why I could do that? Because I've spent the last 20 days going through every market report for the last year on every currency in futures market. and putting it in an Access database so I would know exactly how the market would move at any given time. Yeah, all you have to do is look for a market report that moves the market. That's all you have to do. So we don't have to sit and say, okay, I got to be here at the market opening, I've got to wait for the setup, and I've got to do this, and I've got to do that. Okay? All I have to do is say, what's the market report, and how much does it move? Now, I have all those pieces of information. Does everybody understand? It's pretty straightforward, really. How much does gold move during this market report? Minimum is $1.50. Okay. I think that moved $1.50. We could put this down to 15 minutes just to make sure. Yeah, I think that moved $1.50, don't y'all? And that's the 845 bar. The profit and loss. All right, I had 10 contracts and I exited at $45. That means I paid nothing for that trade, correct, Dan? Because they give me that money back. I put it up as risk, but I did not lose it, correct? So that trade I made $450. The next trade I was at $55, okay? So I got $55 per contract times 10 is $550. Do you understand now, Dan? Yeah, the spreads have to move, okay? They have to move. But, pretty much the binaries need to as well. Do you understand that, Dan? My losses are right here, okay? 25.75, okay? 25.75, and then 19.50, and it's 10 contracts, so it's 195. And I should put these in red, and I'll put these in green so you know what the profit was. And dollar amounts. So if you subtract A3 minus C3, there's your profit. Does that make it plainer, Dan? Any questions? I mean, that's pretty easy to make that when you know that the market's going to move, correct? Yeah, about a I would say it's 1-to-1, a little bit better than 1-to-1. I was risking 452.50. I made 547. Now, I guess you could calculate in the other argument to actually get the return on investment. because you had to put it all up front. I went a little bit higher on that one, viewer 9, because I knew that with the PPI in the core retail sales, it would probably move more than the 40 pips. And I said that in the blog this morning. Otherwise, I would have kept it to within that range. I would have tried to find one for, like 580, you know. And on the currencies, you can on the 2 hours because the strike width is so close together. Now, that was just doing one strike width, okay? And on this one, I think I went out from 70 up to, 0602. But normally you shoot for about 80% of the range. Yeah, typically that's a hard question to ask, Artemin, only because it depends on the market report and my experience with that market report. Dan, what do you mean? I guess you're waiting on the report that I'm writing. And that sounds terrible, but it's unless you've done what I've done, that's what you're waiting on. Well, I did this one 30 minutes before the market report. I mean, I don't do it an hour unless I see a congestion range. Okay. Sometimes you will see a congestion range. There's been a couple of market reports that gave us a congestion range. Let's say that I had noticed this and it had continued all morning. I could have done that early, okay? Because it's not moving in either direction, and I can say, okay, my median price is 937, okay? So then I could go above it or I could go below it. But, if price is still moving, I usually wait until about 30 minutes before the report. Does that answer your question, Dan? Yeah, because I'm doing them at 8 o'clock in the morning, as soon as the binary becomes available, except with the exception of the dailies. Why do I do the dailies? Why even bother with the dailies? Okay? Think about it. If I'm wrong, for example, on this one, I've got 2 to the downside. Okay, this market could actually open and come straight down, and I could still be filled on the 11 o'clock one, not the 9 o'clock. The 9 o'clock, it's only got 15 minutes. I don't think that's going to retrace in 15 minutes, right? But on the daily, yeah, it could potentially still go down there and hit my daily. And what happens if there's not any movement? Well, you lose on all sides. That's why you have to know your market reports. It's all in percentages. That is correct. And believe me, I know more about market reports than I ever dreamed I would want to know. The market reports, Dan? Oh, yeah. The key to trading market reports is using low risk and knowing how far out to go with your strike price. If you know those pieces of information, you can trade them. The biggest obstacle in trading out of the money options is how far out to go. No, I don't always trade both sides. I don't personally, viewer none. And the reason that I don't, a lot of times I'm reading volume, and the volume will pretty much tell you whether you're anticipating it to go up or whether you're anticipating it to go down. That in the congestion zones, you know. Yeah, I do. Do you see how it came to this gold line down here? Viewer 9? And this area was actually acting as an area that was going to bounce price up. Would you like to know why? Because it's a 720-minute support area. Okay? This would be anticipated from that. But that takes indicators. Because otherwise you wouldn't know that support area was there. That takes experience with the markets. I'm trying to show y'all this morning ways to make money. You don't even need indicators, okay? While you're gaining experience, you could actually do this. Now, you do need the market report that I'm going to publish probably in about 2 weeks, okay? But hell, I'm making it free to everybody, so no big deal. Understand? Then if you want to perfect it and say, okay, I want the full 1,000, you would be able to do that with time and experience, okay? But it will take time and it will take experience, okay, to build that up. It's not overnight. And, you know, I like being honest and upfront with my clients. Any questions about that? I mean, to me, that's pretty simplistic. Oh, Dan, I've got these in, I put them all in a database. And I can even tell you month over month if it was increasing or decreasing, how much the market moved. It's pretty amazing, actually. Spent a lot of time on it. That's the reason I didn't do the trading room last week. And I want y'all, and I mean, yeah, I am excited over the work that I've done, but I'm excited because we're not forced to sit in front of the computer all the time now. And that's always an exciting concept to me because that's when we get in trouble is sitting at the computer all day. Okay. All right. For example, I'm looking at the market reports for this week. Okay. I know that I can trade annotate. I can trade during let's do this again. I can trade God, I am doing good this morning, guys. Give me a minute. I gotta get myself together here. Okay, so looking at market reports, I know that I can trade these. Okay, building permits, not too much. Unemployment claims, unemployment claims. It is better to trade the forex than it is the futures. Okay, Philly Fed, you'll get some movement off of this one. Okay. Then on Friday, we have the CPI and the core CPI at 8:30, and then we also have it at 10 o'clock. Okay, we have the preliminary U of M. This does move the market. So this one, I would do a binary that expires at 11 o'clock. This one, I'm going to do binaries at 9. If I'm doing Forex, I'll also do 11 o'clock. Philly Fed is going to be 11 o'clock. Unemployment claims, I'll probably do that one at 9 and 11 because I'm going to be trading the Forex on that one. Okay. Now, I just have my schedule for the week. Everybody understand that? Yeah, it's pretty easy. No. Just because it's red does not mean crap. Okay? Does not mean a thing. Okay? And I've done this for every futures market I trade in the Forex symbols. For example, the Aussie dollar, the Euro US dollar, the British pound dollar, the USD Swiss franc, the USD Canadian, and the USD yen. Plus the Dow, the ES, the NASDAQ, crude oil inventories, gold. Did I say the DAX? I think I did. And I'm going to refine it even more because I'm adding in the typical movement for the U.S. opening. Does everybody remember the range article that I did? It was a 4-part series in stocks and commodities. Well, I'm actually updating that and including the 15-hour bar of the market opening. Well, history does repeat itself, so we're told. Especially in the markets. All patterns are based on historical data. Yep. So, like from 9:30 to 9:45, I'm going to measure how much all the markets move. Excuse me. So that way we know exactly how far to go out of the money on average. That will be my next report. I haven't finished it yet. Yeah, that was the report that I did for stocks and commodities that actually showed how much the market moved per hour. I'm going to define that even more now. And I'm going to update that report as well. How did I know the euro would be the mover this morning? Because I studied it. That's why. And I post these on the blog typically early in the morning, like around 6 o'clock in the morning. I actually typically will post these. And if you go back to that market report, you would see that gold, DAX, and the euro were the three top movers. You could have done one on gold for 8 o'clock too, from 8 to 9. Actually, Mika, from the market reports, it showed that that the forex will move more off of that report. I thought that was interesting too, though. One of the reasons that I think it did it, Mika, is because the numbers came out better than last month. This is one that could be an emotional report, even though it's based on supply and demand, because it's going to directly affect whether they raise the interest rates or not. And looking at the euro, most traders believe that because our economy is supposedly getting better, they're going to raise interest rates, which is why the euro is going up right now. Do you understand that, Mika? That's a mouthful. And I just did it on one Forex pair this morning. Okay? One. Okay. Now, again, if we go back to this table, the Aussie should have moved 33 ticks. Let's see if it moved 33 ticks. And I'm going to put this down to 15 minutes, so can't nobody think that I'm inventing numbers here. Okay. This was the 830 bar. Aussie dollar should have moved 33.8. Okay. It went from 75 up to 76.14. Is that greater than 33.8? Yes, it is. Okay. So I'm just going to check them off as we see it. This one did exactly what I anticipated. All right. The euro we know did because we were in that one. Okay. What about the British pound? The British pound should have moved 40 ticks. Let's see how it moved. Okay. This is the 815. This is the 830. Okay. So it moved from 46.41 up to 47.31. Okay. So that is a check. Okay. The USD Swiss franc is expected to move 28.9. We'll just say 30. Oh, it's the USD Canadian that I wanted. Okay, so it went from 25.86 down to 25.34, so you would have made money on that one. What about the USD Swiss franc? It should have moved 32 ticks. Here's your 830 bar. It moved 97.90 down to 97.46. Yep, it did the 32 tick move. And the USD JPY should have moved 38.8. We'll just say an even 40 ticks. Okay, you're here. It moved from 66 up to 11. It moved to, okay, that was 66. Yep, pretty much. Now, I showed you on this one, which was the Euro US dollar. Excuse my writing here. I can't write. Even with no indicators, I made over $500, right? You could have done it on the Aussie dollar. You could have done it on the British pound. You could have done it on the USD Swiss franc. You could have done it on the USD Canadian in the USD JPY. So that's 500, 500, 500, 500, 500, 500. That's $3,000, guys. Any more questions? Yeah, the dollar will go down and the euro will go up. So just by knowing how to trade the binaries, no indicators, okay, you could have done multiple binary options on these, and I just showed you, okay, how to do it. And that little technique would earn you about 3,000 because every one of them moved my anticipated rate. And I told you exactly what time you needed to trade. It don't get no easier than that. Yeah, I know that's incorrect English, and it was for a purpose. It just doesn't get easier. I've told you what time to place the trade. I've told you how much movement to anticipate. And I've told you how to set your profit targets. Boom. There you go. And if you'd have been there at 8 o'clock, you would have got binaries on every one of them. Understand? And best of all, it was free. No charges at all. Didn't have to buy anything. Yep. I tell you exactly when to sit at the computer. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't. And I even give you the strike prices, which, I mean, yeah, they're listed on Nadex, but you have to go in and find out where they're at and do some research and all this other. I've done all that for you. Okay? Strike width on the Aussie yen, 5. Aussie dollar, 5. Euro British pound, 10. Euro yen, 10. Euro US dollar, 4, which is one of the reasons I chose to trade it. USD yen, 4. USD Swiss franc, 4. Canadian and British pound, 10 pips. What that tells me is when I'm going out of the money, I'm going to pay more on the British pound and the Canadian and less on the Aussie dollar, the Swiss franc, the yen, and the euro US dollar. Okay? Yeah, I wanted to start it early this morning because I knew that that market report was coming out and I wanted everybody to see the way I did it. Okay? And this is what you have to do. Okay, it's the euro US dollar. We're expecting 40 ticks of movement. That means I could go out a maximum of 10 strike prices. It's all about numbers. How fast can you calculate the numbers? Because I guarantee you I can calculate my numbers. Okay? Yeah, that's why I'm getting $20 binaries. This one on gold, okay, it's $1.50. I was expecting $1.50 of movement, okay. Didn't make sense. I can't go out when it's like that. Understand? Those are the ones I would actually do, spreads on. If you could get a cheap spread, those are the ones I would do spreads on. Okay? Yeah, on gold. I would do a spread on it, not a binary. And then it depends on, okay, what spread can I get and is it worth the risk to reward ratio? I'm trying to find them now. Let's see. Let's go back to gold. It was your spreads were 1190, 1182, and 1175. Those were your areas. Yeah, that's on a 15-minute. So you probably would have got the 1182.5. You would probably pay just about a point on that. So if it went 1182, then you had about $10 of risk per contract, maybe 20. Okay. And then to the downside, you had 1190 and 1197, which would be, you would have been risking probably about 1184. That would have been too much risk to the downside on gold for me. I would have lived just to the upside. This is your gold, and these are the areas. Don't pay attention to these prices because the prices aren't valid. But you've got 1190, you've got 1182, and 1175. Okay, you could have went in at the 1182 area. That's the only area I would see that I would have went into. Maybe the 1190 area. If you did it at 8 o'clock, you would have went in probably at around 1191. I would say. I mean, this is hindsight. I don't know what the prices were because I didn't do gold this morning. Viewer 9, did you understand that? And the one thing about the binaries, are hard to do in hindsight because you don't know what the prices were. I mean, you can pretty much say, okay, it should have been around here, but these binaries change continuously. Oh, they change real quick, like you saw this morning. And that's the reason I tell you your focus needs to be over here on the price. Okay. For example, right now, do you see how the current market is at 84 on Nadex? On this Germany 30 12 275 to 12 325. My profit target is at 80. So I'm about 4 ticks away from being filled, and the market has not opened yet. Does everybody understand that one? What you're looking at is if this current market gets to what my price is, I'm out of that. On this one, 304, I believe. For some reason, it's not listing the strike prices in here, and that really bothers me, but it is what it is. Mm, look at the euro go. We nailed that market this morning. The loss on the other side would be 325 minus 341. Basically $16 a contract, 160 for two, for 10. Yeah, you have to be able to see it at that time, Dan. With me being in the trading room, I can't. If you remember correctly, everything went blank on me. Yeah, it's all in the volume. The volume and those congestion lines make a ton of money. If you know how to trade them. I'm not giving out trading advice. I better put that in there. Now, the other thing that you need to consider on binaries, and this is what confuses most people, this position value right now is $400. Okay? If I exit, I have a profit $400. Okay? But this one, I would have lost 160. Okay? So you have to subtract the 410 minus the 160, and that gives you $250 profit. And I could exit it now. All I have to do is the first thing that you want to do when you're contemplating that, cancel this order first, okay? Because the market could spike very, very quickly. Give me just a minute. All right, I'm back. All right, we got 6 minutes until the market opening, guys. See, I still think it's going to come down to this green line again. It's trying to anyway. Yeah, Stuart. Well, you send me your number or a time to call. I do have some meetings this morning, but after that we should be able to do it, depending on how long it takes me. Hold on, I gotta write it down, sweetie. Sounds good. One thing that y'all may not know, and you're seeing it this morning, okay? And I'm going to pull this over so I can show it to you better. Notice the price is at 267, okay? But do you see how the indicative is only at 12,277? Okay. Notice that my binary is now at 89, not close to the 280. This is the play between the spreads. And what you have to risk, or what you have to analyze on the spreads, do you anticipate this to close below this value? Okay. So if you presume, okay, it's actually going to close below the 12,280, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to delete that. And I want to show you how to do this. And I'm going to explain why. If this expires less than the 275 area, and let me put that on the chart. I'll put it at 274, okay? Oop. And this is something that just comes with the experience of trading the spreads, okay? Let's say that in 31 minutes, because that's how long the spread is still available, let's say that this is down here at 1236. I have just made almost the entire width of that spread. Do y'all understand that? So from my entry point of 12,301 down to 275, I made the full width. Okay. Do y'all understand that? Yes or no? All right. The top of my spread on that. Oh, I've got to go back and look. It was 325, I believe. And this is the way the spreads work, and a lot of people don't understand them. This was the top of my spread, 325. The bottom of my spread is this red line. Okay? My entry price, which is what I paid for the spread, let me bring that back, was, where are you at? Here it is. I paid 304. Okay? 12304. Okay? The top of the spread was 13325. Okay? My risk is equal from the top to where I entered. Is that right? No, that's not right. I gotta get my numbers right here. All right, there we go. So my risk is I4 minus I5. Okay? And that is 10 contracts, so it is equal to 21 times 10. It's $210. That's my risk. You with me so far? Everybody's still with me? Everybody's still understanding? All right. The bottom of the spread is 12275. Okay? And I entered it at 12304. So my potential for profit is $29 per contract. Okay? So 29 times 10, $290. Well, no, they return that back, so actually it's more than that. Wait a minute. And this would be 50 times 10. That's your potential profit. Sorry about that. Understand now? This is worst case scenario. This is best case scenario. Now, do you understand? All right, I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee, and we're just going to wait and see what happens on that one. Okay? Hi, Stuart. No, it doesn't, and I'm not sure why it doesn't, but it doesn't. It would be nice if it did. How do I know what I'm in? Because I entered them. The spreads are not my favorite, but I mean, know which ones I entered, and I put the line on the chart right here. So it's 325 to the downside and to the upside. Well, I mark my charts. On the Nadex Pro, I think it actually shows it, but I don't have it open. I can't open it in the room. You could always click on it, and it shows you right here. But if you click the wrong button, you'll be out of it. Yeah, it's showing a slight profit right now of $90. The position value of it is 280. The difference between the position value and the profit or loss is your risk. Why would it show negative 252, Stuart? I'm not following you there. But why would it show negative 252 when you're positive here? Are you talking about down here? That's from all three positions. The profit or loss is negative 212, but your position value, which is the value of all your positions, is 332. That's just learning how to read the binary window. And they have changed that. They recently added those because I was part of their, I guess, testing program for that. Well, it looks like the only movement we had this morning was from the market report. If you're following the position value, okay, that's what the value of this position is. That would be your total profit on that trade because that's your risk plus the profit and loss that's showing there on the screen. You're looking at your position value, you're about $80 away from your maximum profit target. And the question becomes, okay, do you really want to sit for that extra $80? That's what it boils down to. And that's a question only you can answer. Do y'all understand that? I showed you the maximum profit earlier. So if I exit right now, I just locked in profits. I was $50 away from the profit target. Do y'all understand that? Yes or no? Because if that spikes up, it could take your profit. Is $50 worth it? The difference between greed and trading. Just trying to see if I got a email on it, and I'll show you. All right. So you can see that I exited at $80. Okay, it was 10 contracts that gave me the profit target. Do y'all understand? Now on this one, I've lost 160. Okay, so instead of making 500, I actually made 450, and I had $160 loss on the other side. So that's 290. So just trading the two contracts that I did this morning. Oops. Made $837.50. Not bad for an hour and a half, especially because we knew it was coming, or 2 hours. You actually had to be at your computer at 8 o'clock. Any questions, guys? And I only took 2 of the available trades. That was it. Any questions on it, guys? And that's not using indicators or anything. It's just mathematics. All right, any questions? Because if there's no questions, I'm going to end the session because I have something else I need to do this morning. I have to work with a client. It depends on the market report, Artemin. The spreads, yeah, they change. They change every moment of the day. And the spreads are not my favorite by any stretch of the imagination. I like the out of the money binaries. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work with spreads, which is why I wanted to show it this morning. It's not my favorite, but I like the binaries better. Just personal. And what did it take to make money? It took discipline, mathematics, and research. That's all it took. Didn't even need an indicator. The indicators just refine them. The indicators allow you to trade the futures. The indicators allow you to know where is price going. Is it realistic? Okay? But it takes experience to be able to do that. And I'll explain why I say that. On the 15-minute, okay, you see you've got this yellow line here. Okay, that told me this is an area that's going to support price more than likely today. It's already found support there previously, correct? All right, so I could have only done these two and done this first one here with the expiration of 9 o'clock as insurance. It just in case these two didn't work, this one would work out. Okay? That's refining. That's becoming more professional with it. Understand? But I like to show how beginners do it. All right? So everybody have a wonderful day. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place.